Hey, everybody, for gunsandthe701.com, it's Mike, and I am here. Clay got taken out by lightning, I believe, in the homestead once again. Of course, weather has not been kind to Clay's homestead this year. We've been knocked out a couple of times right around the show time. But we'll start off the show as we always do for Guns in the 701 and gunsandthe701.com. Well, we welcome everybody. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And that is the key words for tonight, not being infringed. I'm Mike, filling in. We've already got people showing up on the chats. We do appreciate Waylon in there. Also looking at Brandon Mitchell. Good evening to you as well. Trampus Brenner. We got Eric in there, Eric Newman, always good friends of the show. And like we said, Clay will join us when the power can come back on and we can get him on here and we'll be good to go. One Shot Cap showing up as well. So here's the question for tonight. We're going to start a little filler time before Clay gets here. And the trick we're going to do tonight, and we want everybody to chime in on this one as well, is we're going to go ahead and start off with a suggestion that Jamie from 701 Nation said to me. He says, go to a website, type in gun control, and see what the first couple of things that show up is. And we're going to do that here real quick, as a matter of fact. Let's see if I can do this real quick. Let's see. We'll go gun control. And that was the big question last night, right? And of course, gun control. Well, Wikipedia shows up first. So we're taking a look at this, and let me see if I can make this a little bigger. So gun control, and what they say gun control is gun control or firearm regulations is a set of laws or policies that regulate the manufacture, sale, transfer, possession, modification, or use of a firearm by a civilian. Now, with that in mind, right away, whenever you have, of course, somebody on the left-leaning party saying that they're not about gun control, they're not about confiscation, not about rules, the definition of gun control is exactly what they're all about. They want to set laws for nothing but the policies that regulate manufacture, sale, transfer, possession, modification, or use of a firearm by civilians. When it is actually said in our Second Amendment that the regulations are not the deal to go with. So with that in mind, of course, we appreciate Lynette in there and Axe also watching. And we're going to thank our sponsors, by the way, because Axe just showed up, and I apologize about that. Filling in for Clay this morning, or this afternoon, this evening, wherever we are here right now, here at gunsandthe701.com. And we got our good friends, of course, from Lawler Auto in there. And we're also talking about all our other good sponsors as well. And I want to find my good image here real quick. I think I hear the telltale signs of a friend showing up to talk. Real quick, we want to talk about our good friends at Lawler Auto, been with the show from day one. Also, Bloodline Kinetics, Mandam Shooting Sports with their new location, Little Angry Man Arms as well. And of course, we're going to have him on the show here in the next couple of weeks talking about suppressors and more. We bring on the most knowledgeable people we know. And of course, they know what they're talking about. We'll be talking to them. Now, before we continue on, we've got Clay in here, and I'm going to see about getting Clay in here real quick. Let me stop sharing this video real quick. Hey, Clay, how are you?
Can you hear me?
I can. You have a nice new microphone.
Well, I had to go up and use my son's.
There you go.
I don't know what the deal is, but my computer is down. I don't know what's going on.
That's all right. Like I said, it's been a weather situation all season long for you guys. It seems like.
I'll tell you what, it's been horrible. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
This mic actually, I don't even know if this mic's really working. I think I'm using the camera one.
Yeah, I think you're on the camera mic more than anything else, but it looks good.
It looks good. Yeah, is that what matters?
That's what matters sometimes, yeah.
And I'm in his room, so I'm using a virtual background.
That's all right. Yeah. That way he doesn't have to clean.
Yeah. There we go.
There we go.
That says it right. Anyway, I am here. Holy cow.
Yeah, I've been busy.
Maybe I'm being targeted by the Chi-Cons and NSA and who knows who, huh?
I don't know. They've tried to take you out before. I know that. So we brought up the subject, and I brought it in there right away, and we were talking about bringing the first things that we typed with gun control on the web, and what we would come up with. And what we came up with was basically Wikipedia with the very first thing. And we've already had some people comment on it. Gun control. freedom control. That's a good one. Also, we're looking at we've got others in there, of course, talking about gun control equals freedom control. I thought gun control was using both hands. There's a bunch of stuff in there, but I was looking at this, and you go through gun control, and of course it goes straight to Georgia school shooting evaluates gun control. And you're scrolling down there. Then, of course, Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly's in there because he's all about gun control. And, Kamala Harris in there for gun control. Gun control explained, the New York Times. It's all the pros and cons of gun control. That's my favorite one on that one. The pros and cons. I'm like, I didn't know there was a pro and con on that, as a matter of fact. I figured taking away the rights of people given to us by our Constitution was be pretty much a con, but hey, maybe the con is the proper word I should be using.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, just say I'm not ignoring you here. I'm turning on the rest of the channels. So those of you that did not see everything, it is now coming on. It should be coming on to Rumble.
Jolene says that Brian is listening on X while we're driving.
Yep. I see an X was on. Thank you, Brian. I believe both Rumbles now are up and running. So
excellent.
We should be. We're broadcasting to, I think, most of the channels we usually do.
So. There we go. So we're into it now. But yeah. So you got to catch the debate last night, and I know you had some words about that.
Oh my goodness. So I've seen a lot of people say Trump won. Kamala's claiming she won. I think the only people that really won last night was us, the people. Though I don't think he changed anybody's minds last night. If anything, I'd call it maybe a draw. They did exactly what they wanted to do. You had a 3-on-1. I mean, that's just the way that was. You could absolutely see the biggest loser was ABC because they just proved they are not a credible, as most of us knew, they're not credible. They're completely leftist. They carry the water for anything DNC, and they proved it last night, as far as I'm concerned. They truly did.
The problem I have is that, and I've said it before, that I think that J.D. Vance is a loser move on our behalf for our party. But that's me, and we've had this discussion before. And and I've gone through the hillbilly elegy thing, and I just think it's a load of publicity crap personally, and I think he's a liar. But that's just me. But the thing about it is,
I'll put it this way: I hope you're wrong. If you are right, I'll come back and say that I don't like him. But I've seen nothing that no proof.
Well, and when I go and the comments about the cats and this and that and all that, just
so stupid.
Nothing but dilute and take away the opportunity to answer real questions, to take away to talk about real issues, and it's terrible on our side that we're spending so much time with the QAnon bullshit is what it is, and it just baffles me. And you're right, and it leads right into the ABC and CBS and all them able to make all these claims and claim this and that, and I'm like, it's nice light there. Yeah, I know that everybody that Clay's having a little problem on his microphone. I think he's on his distant mic because that one might not be working properly. But
yeah, this one isn't working. We tried to get it to work, so I'm using my camera one, and I apologize, everybody. So I'll try to speak a little louder, hopefully.
Yeah. Already this morning, of course, a bunch of things showed up. Now, remind you, this is a
try something.
Try something.
Interrupt here. I'm going to try something here and see if I can try a different microphone setting. And see, it's not showing up here, so give me 1 minute.
Yeah. Oh, you're off. Nothing. Still nothing on that, Clay, but that's all right. Nope. Still nothing. Yeah, that's what it is. We got this.
Well,
there you go. There you go.
To go with the camera. And
that's fine.
I apologize. I do not have my stuff here. Like I said, I had to confiscate I had to commandeer my son's computer tonight.
It's fine.
I can't tell you what happened. So,
get
back to this whole thing. Last night, I thought Trump hit her on some stuff, but I don't know why he didn't hit her on the real stuff.
He got
bogged down. Well, she baited him into a lot of things. There was plenty of things to go after her on, and he didn't. And I think he just got bogged down in the personal. When she personally attacked him on stuff on a personal level, it pissed Trump off. You could see it in his eyes, and he went after her.
But see, my problem with that is that we cannot deny that Trump does not go personal and deep personal at every rally against anyone that's against him. So, we know that's what he does. So he can't complain that they
Oh,
did
he
it
ain't
to him.
complaining. I don't think he's complaining. I haven't seen him complain about it whatsoever. But her doing it to him, he couldn't take it. Okay,
Yeah.
and then he went down that road, and I think he needed to do more like he did with Biden. Stay on point, stay on subject. I mean, he has a record. He had 4 years of success for the most part. There's always something in there that not everybody's going to like.
Right.
But on guns, he did well. Yes, there was a snafu in there, and he's even admitted now that that was probably the dumb move. But I have a feeling that in a second term, we're not going to have those kinds of problems. In fact, I think things are going to get really good. When he talks about the border, he's spot on. Close it down. It worked. Now, you're never going to stop everybody coming. The economy. I mean, Mike, were you doing better 4 years ago? I know I was.
Well,
And
actually, I'll say that 4 years ago, I was in a shutdown and everything else. I mean, they say that our state didn't shut down here in South Dakota, but our state shut down.
well, okay, let's go 8 years. The 4 years of Trump, were you better or worse financially? I can tell you, I was better.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think for ranchers, farmers, and the higher echelon, and we are on a different tax bracket than me and you, because I mean you are much more successful than I am, but
I don't know about that. But
I just look at it like it's just another day.
I can tell you right now, since these two buffoon communist Marxists came in, my taxes have went up everywhere. I mean, I'm paying more for everything. Diesel went from $1.58 for dyed diesel to $3.
Mm-hmm.
But my tractor consumption of diesel per hour, that didn't change. So it tripled my inputs on everything on this operation here, and not to mention that my taxes went up. They just plain ass did because they let a lot of stuff expire.
And I know all of ours have gone up as well. As a matter of fact, when I walked around with my wife when she was running for city council, there were a lot of senior citizens that said, "I'm almost to the point where I'm almost taxed out of my home."
That's what they want.
Yeah, and that's what they want.
So we just got our property tax bill here in North Dakota, and I'm going to give a big shout out. People, vote for Measure 4 for Christ's sakes. I just got another $700 increase on my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And that don't sound like a lot, but it was about $1,000 the year before, and it was about $1,300 the year before that. The last 5 years, I've seen double-digit percentage, except this year, in property tax increase. So don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining, and that's exactly what our legislature keeps telling us. Until we quit sending these jackasses money, they'll keep spending it. And you're not going to lose local control. Each entity can still raise a levy, but they better have a plan. They better say, we need to have so many dollars to do this improvement to this road. And then when that money's raised, it's done.
Done.
Okay? It's done. It's sunset. They can't just perpetually keep raising them. It's got to go away.
Well, the sunset thing on
spent,
taxes, we've talked about many times, is that the taxes go into place and they never go away. And they just continue to roll over top of each other. Gas taxes, especially. We've got all those all over the state. Talking about South Dakota for a little bit, we turned down millions of dollars from the federal government this past 2 weeks. Governor Noem did. And I first thought about it. I was like, well, could I have gone somewhere positive? But at the same time, I thought, you're right on a lot of aspects of that, is that there are some times that we can do it in our own state. We can do these things in our own state because whenever the government sends you money, they send you a list of demands as well. And you've had to deal with that with your school situation up in your area. And I've seen it throughout my area as well. There are a lot of people that don't want to say or buck the trend or push back at all because, they're going, hey, let me go and tell you, if we've talked about government employees, how some of them fail up all the time around here, but I know a lot of government employees that actually want to do well, but they are afraid to say anything because they will be booted out. They will be kicked out of the system because they are not allowed to use their free speech. They are not allowed to say the system's wrong. There are things wrong in the government, and it should change. But instead, we're letting the higher ups fail up. And when they completely screw up an entire division somewhere in the government, what do? They transfer them over to another division, and they let them start over there with a nice high pay.
Oh, absolutely. You see that so much in government. And, North Dakota compared to South Dakota is in a very, very unique position when you think about it. North Dakota has oil revenues coming in, okay? Something that a lot of states don't have. Wyoming enjoys that with coal and oil and gas.
Mhm.
But North Dakota is actually a very wealthy state. They just make you think it's not. And that
Well,
isn't
and
true.
what I think is that if they were allowed to do pipelines and actually drill what they could up there in full capacity, can you imagine how our prices on gas and fuel and everything else by the barrel would go down because it would be right here and it wouldn't be coming from
what we
taxes.
need to what we need to do to solve, yes, we need to drill more, no doubt about it. We need to take that resource, tap it, and use it. There's nothing wrong with that. But we need to make more. We need to start new refineries. We need to build more refineries. We don't have enough to keep closing them down, but that's by design. They won't let the permitting process go. I don't know why the states just don't say we don't care. Kick the feds out of your state. You have the right to do that. Your
Mhm.
sheriffs can enforce it, and you can kick the feds out. But nobody wants to take that stand. And we've got dumbass Burgum. So we're not going to get anybody to kick the feds out of this state at the moment. It's not going to happen. Burgum's not going to do it. And
No.
most governors don't have the cojones to do it. There's some out there, but not in North Dakota.
Well,
We
he's
have
working.
got,
He's working on his second life right now and trying to get into a cabinet position somewhere
oh,
and whatnot. So yeah, he's not rocking the boat.
no, and I can tell you right now, I hope Trump, I hope somebody can get to Trump because I don't know Trump personally and tell him that man's a snake. You don't want him in your cabinet. I mean, he's had to fire people before because they worked behind him, and that's a Burgum. That's what Burgum
Mhm.
will do. Yeah, why don't we get to some of these comments right here?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Lynette out there saying people won't remember much other than why isn't she doing what she says now? So yeah, vice president really doesn't have that much power, and it's true, and they don't.
He
They
doesn't.
are. I mean, I always, when I was growing up, when I was younger, Clay, and taught in schools, it was taught to me that the vice president was kind of a downgraded position that was where you had somebody who was in the wings for you, but they were put down. Basically, they were a challenge to your authority in some ways, so they were given this job to kind of give them nothing, so that
Well,
they couldn't do any danger. And I think there were a few vice presidents that were kind of in that position too. So I mean, but I mean,
and
I
you
think
got
from
to remember too, the vice president's there solely to take over if something happens to the president. I mean, that is the function of the vice president. They should be
right.
in the know. They should have the information. Kamala don't have any information, but she was tasked. Biden held a press conference. She was tasked with taking care of the border. She took care of it all right. She even opened up the doors more and let more people in here illegally. I
Mhm.
don't care. I don't care what their reason is for coming.
Yep.
Do it by legal means. And in my personal opinion, we need to do like we did about 70, 80 years ago. We didn't need any more people in this country. We need to shut it all down right now because we need to get a handle on it. We can open things back up once we get a handle on it. But right
Mhm.
now, we are, guys, this is horrible. If we let this continue, the nation's done because you can't have a nation without borders. Plain and simple.
There's one thing on Gene that he said here: that cheap gas doesn't fit the narrative. They need to push the electric cars. And see, me, I love electric technology. I'm all about it. I was talking to some cooperatives this weekend about different things, electric and whatnot. My problem is, and Clay, we're probably in pretty good agreement on this one, is that when you start mandating things, when you start telling us that it's going to be this way in the future, no, 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 it's not. That's not the American way for one, and that's not the capitalist system for one. You don't just the market dictates, and if the market dictates that going to electric is the money making move that the bigger companies and the people will want, then that's what will happen. And if it isn't what we want, then people aren't going to buy the product no matter what the government says. And we'll be running around, we always see the videos of these guys over in Asia and all that make their own motorcycles and make their own vehicles and everything. So, screw it. We'll just end up making our own damn stuff. It's not like we don't know how to make our things.
Well, and as far as the electric thing goes, well, first I'm going to go to what Jamie said here. He said, look at Harris, which one's?
Oh, yeah, here you go.
Biden appointed 200 anti-constitutional judges, and he absolutely did, and that's a problem. When you're getting into the court systems, 200 anti-constitution judges, 10 million illegals moved in. That's a recipe for disaster. Trump put in, I believe, Jamie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but 100 and some is all he got in there. I mean, Biden just sat down, or whoever his handlers are, and they just yep, and they appointed leftist judges, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it in the decisions in many of these districts. Luckily, the Supreme Court has, I think it's a split court at the very best, and a lot of times, sometimes it goes 6-3, sometimes it goes 5-4.
Right.
But it's not the conservative court that everybody thinks. We got 3 diehard leftists that don't even know what the Constitution is, and we've got 3 pretty decent conservatives, and then you've got your other 3 that they go back and forth. And I can tell you, I've never liked Roberts. I don't like 2 of them especially on there. I think, and our people put them in there. That's even worse. I could be like Kamala here. I could hold my hands and talk like this, and But anyway, I'm telling you right now, unless we get a hand on the border, I mean, can you imagine the illegal guns that are coming over that we don't even know about?
Yeah.
And yet,
I know. Well, I remember when we were shipping them over illegally ourselves through our government's action, and no one ever paid a price for that other than some low-lying guys on the ground level, but nobody up in the administration ever took any grief for that.
We actually had a border agent that paid the ultimate sacrifice with his life. He was killed with one of them guns. And so Jamie also got, look at Harris's voting record. When she was deciding the vote in the Senate, the VP's job, break ties, and it is because they will receive the Senate right down the line with Joe Biden. Yeah, she's did that more than any vice president ever. Let's also remember, Kamala Harris has never been elected to anything but the Attorney General's office. Everything else, she's been appointed. She never ran for the Senate. She was appointed and replaced, I believe it was Barbara Boxer at the time, by the governor of California. Then she tried to run for president, received 0 delegates, 0, and dropped out before Iowa. Nobody liked her because she's an idiot. I mean, if you looked at some of the things she said there, that should be enough to disqualify her from anyone voting for her. But they talk about our side voting only for the R. I can tell you, the other side votes just for the D all the time, more loyally than we do.
Mm-hmm.
And now, guess what? What was there, about 15 million people in the primaries voted for Biden? And they threw them votes out. They want to talk, I hate that term democracy, but you really want to get down into it with the other side? They are not democratic at all. They took the people's vote who voted for Biden, throwed him out, and just anointed her the nominee. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine what would have happened in our own party if something like that would have happened? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So they can't preach to me about how they love this country. They don't like anything about it. They run their party just as they like to run it, like a bunch of communists. They'll do what they want to do. They'll put who they want in there. You'll like it and you'll love it. And that's the way. And you're gonna vote for it. And that's basically what they're telling their supporters, as far as I'm concerned. I watched that debate last night. I didn't think it moved the needle either way. A lot of the polling is showing that. Everything, it kind of went one way and then it's back to where it was. I really feel that it comes down to 3 states. Pennsylvania is one of them.
Right.
Last election.
That's still close.
The last election was 42,000 votes in certain swing states that decided the presidency. Okay? 42,000 votes. And I think it's going to come down to that kind of a number again. I do know there's been a lot of things that are encouraging to me with the new registration of new Republicans and new voters that are coming in. The 18 to 25-year-olds, I know the Democrats keep saying, oh, they're with us. It's not true. If you look at a lot of Turning Point's polling, where they're going to campus, college campuses, we're actually seeing it. So remember, we don't need to have the majority of the 18 to 25-year-olds. We only need
Mhm.
1% of them, and we've got that. So, I mean, it's a numbers game. You know me and numbers, right? It's a numbers game. I'm worried about the steal. I'm worried about the cheat. And I think
Actually,
they're gonna
one
try
of the
to
things
do
I'm
it.
worried about on that is there are a lot of people that early voted. They voted when they could early, and they voted before Biden dropped out. And I'm thinking to myself, so does that vote count? I mean, if you think about it, I mean, should it count? I mean, should it count? If the candidate's not even in there anymore, I mean, should it count? Or is it, like you said, it just rolled over to her and nobody was thinking when they cast the vote on the left side, they were thinking about Kamala. Nobody was thinking that.
Nobody.
Now they act like it's the second coming, but still I wonder about it. It's just it's one of those baffling comments out there. We got Gene Cox in there.
Yeah.
How many of those 42,000 votes were all unsigned mails-in ballots?
Well, that's just it. I don't know. With some of them things that went out in the primary, and now in the early voting, is Biden's name on there, and they voted for Biden. They can't count that as a Harris. They can't do it.
Nope.
Doesn't mean they won't. But
all right. Hey,
why don't we take a break and pay some bills there?
All right.
And then we'll come back, and I think we can discuss this a lot more tonight. Sorry I was late, everybody, but hey.
No, that's all right. Electric things happen. But we'll be back in just a moment on gunsandthe701.com. I always hit the wrong double one, and I hate that. I really got to label these differently from Jamie because I always hit the darn wrong double.
I'm from the Athlete's Foot Foundation.
Brother, hey, can you get my demo tape to somebody?
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right, we're back.
Gunsandthe701.com. Back. I pushed another button. There we go.
So I got to put out there just a quick reminder, too, that being Gene's on here especially, September 14th and 15th. Hey, that's coming up this weekend.
That's right.
Mobridge, South Dakota at the Share Howe Event Center. Gene Cox, the chairman of this. This is a gun collector, Dakota Territory Gun Collectors Gun Show. And it's going to be starting, I believe, he doesn't have the time on here. Gene, I believe they start at about 8 o'clock, but correct me if I'm wrong, and that's all Central Time. For more information, though, you can call 605-848-2427. Again, gun show this weekend in Mulbridge, South Dakota. And Gene, get us those times when the doors open. So there we go.
All right. Well,
I don't know about you, but I'm still a life member of Dakota Territory Gun Collectors. So
yeah, and I was going to go ahead and share real quick as well on sharing the screen stuff. So I've got this weekend coming up in Mitchell at the world's only Corn Palace. We've got the South Dakota Shooting Sports Foundation banquet, and they are the former Friends of NRA banquet. They've gone independent. They are having their banquet inside the Corn Palace as well. And I know that you can't be down for that one, but that would have been a good one to be to. So just want to let everybody know that's coming up this weekend. 4 o'clock is the doors opening. They're going to have the full Corn Palace full of great items for raffles, games, all kinds of great auction items and more. So we'll have that coming up this Saturday.
You know what kind of guns they got there by chance?
I have not seen yet because I'm not on that committee. They asked me, and I just got too many other things going on my plate, so I just couldn't join another committee. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be some good stuff. I'll definitely send you some videos of some stuff. So
yeah. So Braden Mitchell, and that's one of my son's friends, so we're glad to have the young guys. Yeah. See, we got the young crowd. Says if Kamala wanted to run the country, she could. But she said she was going to stop a lot of things, but then that's a bunch of illegals in and is ruining the country. Thank you, Braden. And yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, she's the wrong choice. She's not going to be in charge. If she happens to pull this off, we're in trouble. It's checkmate. It truly is. But she's not going to be running the one. She's not going to be running it. So, hey, Gene Cox just chimed in there 9 to 5 on Saturday and 9 to 3 on Sunday for the gun show over there in Mulbridge. Hey, Jamie, I know you're going to be down here this weekend with your daughter. We're going to try to find you a white-tailed deer for North Dakota youth season. Maybe we might have to slip over there. We might have to take a trip over to Mulbridge after we bag that deer right away in the morning. So keep that in mind.
I think that'd be a good one. It's always a good one, though. But speaking about Jamie and his daughter, I do believe, is this a good picture of them? There you go.
It is. There it is. Yeah, you got the suppressor. I believe that's the ranch rifle in God's cartridge, as Jamie calls it. There 223. He's got his Armstrong ammo can, and I don't have none of my cool stuff behind me tonight, so I got one.
I know. Well, you won't be dinged from CommiTube and all that because you got all the guns behind you, though. So
yeah, no kidding.
Take the good with the bad, I guess. Hey, well, as we roll along, don't forget later on tonight, we're going to have, I do have a Badass of the Week coming up at the end of the show tonight. Also, we've got a new thing, Thug Slugs. I got a couple examples of that real quick that I'm going to throw out there for you because it has been pretty popular. But also, of course, any word on the NDFB pistol that you were talking about? Of course, the tickets for that.
Tickets are supposed to be done tomorrow or Friday, and as soon as they're done, I'm going to go get them, and I can start selling them. I didn't check. I know last week I had like 40 sold right there after the show, so go ahead and get a hold of me, and we definitely can get you on the waiting list. We're only selling 300, and I haven't really pushed them yet because I don't have the tickets.
Yeah, and I got 10. I got 10 allotted for me, so I'm good for that.
I'm there, and now I'm up to 50. So
there you go.
So yeah, I know we can get rid of them. I'm going to buy some. I know because I really like that gun.
Oh yeah, that one's sweet.
This is the third 1911 we've done, and I just like the 1911. To me, it's an iconic firearm. It's not a Colt, but there's so many replicas out there that they've done such a heck of a job with it after the patents expired. So 1911, it's a great card. I mean, a 1911, something in a 223. You got to have. I prefer, an AR. I like that. I think an M1. You got to have the M1 Grand. That's essential. And then you got to have. I still think everyone has to have an old Springfield bolt action. You got to have one of them. So anyway, that's just what if you're gonna have a collection, you got to have them in there.
One thing we were going to talk about, and we'll answer some more questions coming up. So great picks, yeah. Get after the T gets a deer gun show is definitely a possibility. So that's coming from Jamie right there. One of the things so I go to work at 4:30 in the morning now, and I get on the air at 6, and I'm there all dang day because now I'm in charge for some strange reason. But of course, I still do what everybody else does and scan around on their phone while in between things loading and whatnot. And it hit me today with this one. I was like going, the government, our government, which is supposed to be the land of the free, is all about taking away the law-abiding citizens' right to carry weapons, carry guns, and it doesn't matter if the weapons of war, because that changes from year to year. But I saw this video and I thought to myself, this is a prime example that you could take away every single thing we have, and we will still figure out a way to protect our. I love to show that. That's just bamboo, right? Bamboo. And we will figure it out. And you've got to figure that, when are they going to start banning people from having metal lathes and whatnot so they don't turn their own barrels? I mean, I'm sure that's coming down the road too. I mean, you'll have to have a tax stamp just to have your own metal turning stuff. So everybody out there that could even think about making something on their own, or 3D printers or whatever, it's getting just ridiculous on that aspect. So, yeah.
Well, they've already tried the 3D printer thing. They've already tried. You can get all them schematics online. Right. They did lose those cases because you can make your own gun. It's not illegal to make your own gun. But I'm sure they'd love to do it. I'm sure Kamala, she wants to take them all. She said it. Yeah. Buyback program, mandatory buyback program.
There's those two words don't even go together. Mandatory buyback. So I own something that I paid for, and you're going to tell me as a government agency that I have to give it back to you out of my hands, and I'm not allowed to. That's taking from me, not a mandatory buyback. That is taking from me something that I went out and bought. If you want to,
it's your property.
We've got a mandatory whatever against criminals. Fine, go out there and push that. Go out there and try to get every single gun you can off the criminals. That's fine. But you know what? Stop coming after us. Stop coming after us and searching our vehicles and whatnot for victimless crimes, and then making a big scene out of the fact that I've got some ammo in my back seat or something like that. What do you give a damn? It is nothing, no danger to anybody. So what? I went shooting with my son, and I got to worry about police seeing something in the back of my truck or in my tailgate that maybe I left some ammo out or something. It's just ridiculous.
I've only had that happen one time. I was pulled over. It was quite early in the morning, coming back from an event. You remember what I used to do? I used to do the event and sometimes even drive home. And I was speeding a little bit, not much, but he pulled me over, and he wasn't too bad, but he did see that I had guns in the back, of the back seat of the pickup. And I go, well, of course I do. I said, I've just come from an event that sells guns. He goes, oh, are you a dealer? No. I said, no.
I'm the
fundraiser. And we went a little bit, and he kind of got pissy. He wanted to search my vehicle. I said, I will not consent. I said, you have no reason to. I said, I was speeding. Write me a ticket for speeding, and we'll move on our way. And, he kind of got pissy. And, I always used to travel with Greg. And he's like, well, what's his story? I said, that's none of your business. I said, we were speeding, plain and simple. I said, I'm not arguing that. Write me the damn ticket, and then we'll go on our way. But I said, you will not search this. I said, if you want to wake a judge up at 3 a.m, good luck with that. But I said, by the way, I'm sure you ran the plates and you've seen who I work for. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't advise you take this any farther. Yeah. And but why do that? I suppose he thought maybe someone was drinking. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Obviously, you know Greg, you know me. Do we look like we're under 21?
No.
So even if Greg was drinking, I wasn't. I was driving. He could be over there freaking passed out. Who gives a shit? And that's the kind of now. And I ran into some guys that are just plumb pleasant.
Yeah.
One guy pulled me over, and I really didn't know about. I had a taillight out. Didn't know it. And he goes, I wanted to let you know it. He says, I know you're trying to get home. And he goes, well, I said, I appreciate it because I really didn't know it. And I got it fixed. So, I mean, you got both sides of that coin. I just don't know why some of them are such assholes.
I know. And I think it goes down to training once again. And the more training would be better. This situation in the situation in the NFL, there is a player that he was driving a McLaren, which is like a $300,000 British sports car.
Yeah, I saw that video.
He was going 20 miles over the speed limit on the way to the ball game, and they pulled him over. Now, the officer that was talking to him, there was a couple officers there, but the officer that was talking to him asked him to roll his window completely down, and he wouldn't do it.
But that was after he gave him his information already.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And he felt like he was being, kind of crapped on. So he just said, no, I'm just going to roll my window. So that's when it all escalated. And he said in a statement today, it says, maybe I should have just rolled my window down and just gone with it. But no, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you have certain rights. And
I can tell you right now, in South Dakota, you do not have to roll your window down once you have complied with all of their. If they ask for your license, your registration, I always ask them why they pulled me over because they have to do that, and I get their name because they have to also tell you that, and then I give them the information. I refuse to go to their vehicle.
Yep.
Oh, that pisses some of them off, and I roll my window back up because speeding. You've ridden with me. I'm getting a ticket, right?
Right.
I don't exactly go 5 miles an hour over.
Right. But still.
And I don't.
Victimless crimes.
It's a victimless crime. I always looked at it like this. Most of the time, for the amount of times and the amount of miles I drove in a year, still do, it comes down to pennies on the dollar. I consider it my toll tax.
There you go.
Because the amount of fines I have paid do not even get close to the times I've gotten away with it. And I don't care. I don't believe in speed limits. Never have, never will. Change my mind. Good luck. You're never going to do it. I've been this way since I was 14. So I just, it gives them a reason to harass people in a lot of instances. Not always. But I don't, you know what? Write me my ticket. Fine. I don't care. I'm not going to obey. It's an arbitrary number. I debated this one time. In a school assembly of all things, this patrolman was telling me that you're safe. I go, oh, really? So I said I'm safer at 65 miles an hour on the interstate, but in Minnesota, the interstate thing was still 55. So I said, how come on a federal highway, which is an interstate, is built to federal specs? Now remember, I'm 18 years old, maybe 17 even then. But I like to argue. Imagine that. Anyway, I said, tell me how I'm safer at 10 miles an hour less in Minnesota on the same spec road as in South Dakota. I said, can you? And I said, in North Dakota is worse. At night, they dropped to 55. And I think at that time, they were only 60 on the interstate. So I said, how come all these roads that are spec to federal specs for speeds, by the way, which are way above 65, because that's the whole interstate system was built on being able to have a transportation system to go north to south and east to west to move military people in the event of a war. Eisenhower seen it in Germany. He come back and said, hey, we got to build this here. And they did.
Yeah, he did.
And they had no answers because it's all about control. I told that guy, I said, because it's an arbitrary number that means nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely. I
totally
nothing
agree with to do with safety. And he goes, well, and I said, I'll never wear my seatbelt either. Well, then you're endangering your passenger. I said, no, I'm not. They made a choice to get into my vehicle knowing I don't wear my seatbelt. So if we get in a wreck and I'm flying around, it's like signing a waiver of liability. You willingly got into my vehicle knowing the situation, so there's no problem there. They knew the consequences and the risks, plain and simple.
I was like, what do you want to do? Hold my hand while I drive too? Jesus Christ. I mean, come on.
They didn't expect a 17, 18-year-old kid in high school to start arguing with him. And I don't care. I've been this way my whole life. I know my rights. I know the rules. I probably know them better than they do because I don't like being stepped on by any government entity. Never have.
Well, you remember, I think this is your influence along with me, but a few last year when Jack got pulled over because he's got my
Yes.
old pickup truck, and he's got it. You know, he's got the racks in the back of it for his work and all the toolboxes and everything. But he put a nice banging system in it because he likes to listen to his music. So he's banging down the road, and the cop pulled him over, and wanted to get on him about it. And he's like, "Well, no, the city of Mitchell does not have a noise ordinance until 11 p.m. at night." And this was
Right.
like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Well, no, it's in your code. And Jack just says, "It's in your code. That's what it is. There's no crime here." And the cop was mad, but he left. And that's the point. It's all pulling you over arbitrarily.
And here's what's weird about that, or not weird.
How
It
come I
pisses
know?
me off.
How come I know who is the criminals in my hometown?
Yeah.
I can go and point to their house. That house. That house. That house has crap piled up through the windows, and they're doing that so that it's harder for you to get into their
Right.
house and check things out, or they're doing meth in this house, or they're doing this in this house. But yet you want to sit around and pull me over when I'm driving from work over to the Save Quick Mart to get a 6-pack of Pepsi. Come on.
And here's the worst thing about it. Everyone, people might be listening to this going, well, you guys are sure beating up on the cops, or you sure picking and no, it's all the little things, people. It's tyranny in little doses, and we shouldn't stand for none of it. They serve us. They're supposed to serve us. I can't stress this enough. When it went from being a peace officer to law enforcement officer, everything changed. I don't want them enforcing the law. I want them being peace officers protecting the people. Their first and only job should be to protect and serve the people. Now, enforcing laws is just part of that, but the primary should be to protect and serve the people, and they don't do that. I can tell you right now, they don't do that. And then when you do stand up to them, a guy like me, I mean, the local cops here, they do leave me alone because they know I will. As you said, I've done well in life, right? I will take them to court. I don't give a shit. Okay? And half the time when you show up, you win, by the way. You really do. But so for the most part, but they don't like me because I tell them what the actual South Dakota codified law says, or the North Dakota Century Code, because I've gotten familiar with both. Now, why does that make me the bad guy? Sometimes I feel like Trump because I'm right and I point it out, and they don't like to be told that. I can't help it. You took a 9 or 18-month course and you don't know jack about it. Okay.
Well, you go back
I've
to
been reading this stuff my whole life.
1981, Warren versus District of Columbia. It stated that in the appeals court that held that police do not owe a specific duty to provide police services to
right.
citizens based
protect
on
you.
public duty doctrine, which changed everything back in 81, because it went from, like you said, to serve and protect to enforcing the law. Yeah, enforcement.
They went from peace officers to law enforcement, and that was a huge change in what we had seen. And if you don't believe that these people will not serve you in the time of need if things get bad, look now. They take federal money, they do what they're told, and they don't tell you that. Well, we have to do this because the Fed said. Well, why is that? Well, we took a grant. I know very few constitutional sheriffs, true ones. I know a few, and they're great people, but there are not that many of them out there. That's the problem.
Less and less.
And I'm not anti-cop, okay?
No.
I'm anti-unconstitutional cops.
Yeah.
They really should get familiar with constitutional law, and they don't teach that. They don't teach it at all. They really don't. And they got a computer that they get on in their car now and look up what code they can give you a fine for. I've watched them do it.
Yeah. What can this fall under? Yeah, there you go. So yeah.
So I'm going to read a few of these things. I'll go ahead. Yeah. Well, Matt says, but now we have to put our police officers on front lines of protesters. Yeah, and they're not allowed to do anything like that. That's a problem. There's a difference between what we're talking about, I believe, and that. Protesters are a whole different thing. They shouldn't be allowed to go. I mean, they're doing it in front of you. Arrest them. It's pretty cut and dried right there.
Yeah, it's cut and dry. Well, they want to say freedom of speech, but you know what? If I commit a crime in front of the police, it doesn't matter if you want to claim it's freedom of speech. It's still a crime. If you commit a crime, you'll have to pay a consequence. I mean, it's a different thing if you want to go somewhere. Let's take, for example, these kids that were getting up in the schools and sitting there and protesting and these sit-ins and whatnot. Now that's not sit-ins are nothing new. That's been done for
That's
forever.
been being done since, yeah.
Now, do I think the cops should go in there? No. What I think is that you just go ahead and as the schools, and some schools did this, and just the next day when those kids finally do show back up to class saying, "I'm sorry, but you're out.
Right.
You broke every rule that we told you not to break. You went over what you were allowed to do. You destroyed property for the university. You did this. You did this. You're out." And you know what? Put that in their record. So the next school they apply to says, "No, thanks. We don't want to accept you." You know, and then you have all these kids that are just, what's the old term? White Tower communist that, are born in rich families and suddenly go to school and think they have like an obligated moral right to sit there and tell everybody else what the world's all about. And that's what it comes down to. So I said, let these kids end up being the consequences of your actions. What's that term? I used to have a picture for it, and it was the dildo of consequences does not come lube.
Right.
Does not come
I'm
lube.
telling you this. There has to be consequences. We've seen this happening for years, actually decades, where there's no consequence, all the way down to little kids. I see parents today. A good example is when I go to church. My kids were well behaved growing up. I didn't allow them to run and scream, and if they did, guess what? There was a consequence, and mom or dad took them out and explained the consequence to them, right? Because we are the parent, we are the figurehead, so we will set the rules, okay? But people don't do that anymore, and I noticed that the new generation, well, they didn't have that done to them, so they don't do it to their kids, and now we've got generations of kids who are now young adults who didn't have any consequences. They were told they were the best at everything, even if they weren't. I don't believe in that. Now, you don't degrade your children. You gotta encourage them. They need that. They need loving care. There's a fine line, but no, I'm not going to say who it was, but they were in our family, and that individual got told that he was the best at the sport he was doing, and everything he did was great. Okay, he was good, but he wasn't the best.
No.
And when he finally went to college, guess what?
He didn't last.
He figured out he was in big trouble, not just in the sport he was in. He also then didn't do good in his classwork because he actually had to work at it. He wasn't told he was the best at everything. And he thought he'd go pro, which I never thought he'd go pro in soccer. Maybe in this country he could have, but he was good, but he wasn't that good. And now he got out of college and he even got placement in a company, and they started him at the bottom, and he was mad.
Oh, yeah.
I go, well, what'd you expect? I said, you're in a corporate structure. Yeah, you got the degree. That opened the door for you. I said, you get to start climbing that ladder. But see, he thought he could bypass that and go to the top and make $200,000 a year. And he found out, no, that ain't how that works. And now, let's just face it, he's 30-some years old living with his parents.
Hey, I'm 57. I'm 57, and I just finally got the big promotion that I've been shooting for the last 20 years. I pushed for it. Now, I'm later in my years, but I'm not in bad health, although I've had some health problems. I'm not in bad health right now, so I could live another 30 something years, and I could work another 15, 20. And the thing about it is that I worked hard about it. I didn't complain about it.
Stuck with it, yep.
I stuck with it.
You paid your dues. You paid your dues.
You know what? I fed my family.
Do that.
I fed my family. We got a great house. I got a motorcycle to play with. My son's got tools out in the thing that we build stuff and go-karts and all that other stuff. We go hunting. We go do this.
And your son is very handy. I think your son has a bright future. If he wants to be a mechanic, he's going to be a good one if he decides to go down that road. So, hey, getting off of that, I want to quick go. Doug, he puts up there, Kamala and Tim are gun owners. They are not going to take anyone's guns. The reason I bring that up, Doug, I think it's a great comment because I saw it in the debate last night, too.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to see Kamala's gun. I want her to produce. I don't believe her, okay? I'm sure Tim Walz does because I've seen pictures of him with a shotgun and a rifle, okay? Not a surprise to me. But I want to see Kamala's gun that she supposedly owns. I really want to see that gun. And who knows? Maybe it's a Biden gun, right? I think you said something about that earlier today. That
Well,
shotgun signed by Biden.
Yeah.
I just you might own one, but you probably shouldn't, Kamala, because I don't think you have the first clue as to how to use it properly. So you're one of them people shouldn't use it.
Well, remember
Like,
when
I'm
we used
sure
to
you
have
shouldn't
those
have
guys?
it.
Remember we used to have those prosecutors and whatnot come out in California and be like, "This is a ghost gun," and they've got their finger all up in the
Yeah, on the
trigger and
trigger.
everything and all. And I'm like, well, and this is the where the laser come. And they didn't know the first thing about the gun, and I'm like sitting there going, "What the hell? You're in charge, dude. You're making the big money, and that didn't make any damn sense whatsoever. No one that makes less than you didn't prep you ahead of time to go out there so you don't look like an idiot and become a meme for the rest of your life of stupidity. I mean, that's basically what it is. But yeah, hey, we're at 56 minutes.
I'll tell you what. Let's take a few comments and we'll go to pay some bills here. Jamie says 718. If Kamala wins, there's going to be a whole lot more a-hole law enforcement officers because she'll make sure her cops are running the show. Yeah, I mean, she's going to change the entire structure. If she gets in. First of all, she's not going to be the president. She'll be the president, but she's not going to be the president. It's Obama and whoever else is in the background. I mean, Obama's the only president that never left D.C. after he got out of office. Do you know that? Yeah. In the modern times, everybody else retired, went back home. No, not this Boone, because he had a plan. And I'll give the other side. They are great. They're at plans and strategizing, and they're patient people. I'm kind of like a lot of people. I want to see this stuff happening now. No, they'll wait decades. They're patient people. They'll plan out 10, 20, 30 years in advance to implement a plan, and they'll do it in little increments. Kind of like turning up the flame on a pot of water with a frog in it. Just let it until it boils, and that's really what it is. Lynette said, and she's right. She says our peace officers did not sign up for that, and that's referring back to the police officers on the front lines of protest. They didn't. They absolutely didn't. Not to that. Not to what we saw during 2020. They really didn't. And really, probably the National Guard should have been called in some of them. But remember, Trump offered help to Minneapolis, and Walz turned it down. Mm-hmm. Don't forget that. That's true.
That's true.
And he let that city burn. I mean, Todd Mitchell talks about it. We talked about it on the Friday show a couple different times. And it's a little bit of a, it's a soft spot, or what do you want to say? Todd is from that area.
Right.
From Minneapolis. And it really pisses him off to see how that area is destroyed. We were down there when my sister-in-law was, having her heart surgery.
Right.
And so I had the chance to kind of go down and check out some things. That place is still a wreck, Mike. No, windows are boarded up, buildings were burnt down. It looks like a war zone in some of the areas. It's a shame because that main part of downtown Minneapolis, where a lot of the old structures and buildings and history they're just gone. They've either been vandalized or they've been burned. It's horrible. Eric Newman says Soros is running Obama and Obama is running Biden and Kamala. I think you're right. I think Soros has got his hand in there, but. The plain and simple fact, get out and vote. I don't advocate early voting except this election. Get out and do it. If nothing else, get out and do it and get a receipt or get your ballot and then take it to the precinct and drop it in. That way they can't use your name as being a registered voter with a ballot and duplicating it. But we got to make it way too big to rig. That's just plain and simple. Do it and get out there and vote. Get your friends and family to vote. Vote, 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 vote. And make sure, our biggest problem, and it has been for decades, our people actually don't vote. Did you know that on our side?
I know.
The percentages are horrible. If we voted in the same percentage as the Democrats do, we never lose an election. And I don't know why we have such complacency within the conservative movement. I really don't. I don't know.
Well, and it baffles me. It's just like anybody else. I mean, here I know in my town, 13-14% voting. And it's just all these issues that everyone is so mad and angry about, and all this money being spent and this and that. But you don't want to. But you're too busy to go out and vote because it'll take you away from your primetime television or whatever else you got going on. And that
high school sporting event that's every single day now. I'm not even going down that road. No, I'm not against sports, but when I was in them, it wasn't every damn day and consumed my life or my parents' life. Now it just consumes parents. So that's a whole other subject. But
multiple. Having your kids
I like-
play multiple sports is ridiculous as it is. I mean, just
Yeah.
it is. It's just I can understand different seasonal sports, but not during the same season. It's just a joke. But yeah,
It's that's a whole nother. Anyway, if you want to bring back a sport to schools, get the shooting sports back in there. It's a skill they'll learn, and anyone can learn it, and they'll use the rest of their life.
there you go.
It will actually be beneficial. So keep that in mind if you want a real sport, shooting sports. I don't care if it's guns, archery. It's a skill you can keep and use your entire life, and anybody can learn. You don't really need natural talent. If you can understand basic math
Right.
and basic common sense, you can learn to shoot a rifle efficiently and have fun. You can compete, you can hunt, you can just go out plinking. It's something
Yeah. How
that
many friends do we have that travel around for all these competitions and all that? That's a great
David
time
does it.
with your whole family.
Absolutely. Eric and his family, they're a hunting and shooting family, and it's fantastic. It's a great thing. My boys they both shoot. My wife does not. Danelle likes to shoot, but she does not hunt, and that's okay. And this weekend, Jamie's coming down. We're going to take him and his daughter out, North Dakota youth deer season. We have a tag too, but I think we're going to hold off and wait and get the one we want during the regular season. So, all right, let's take a break and pay some bills, and then we'll be back. How's that sound?
All
You
right.
got an intro for us?
I got it.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy. Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventure starts here.
Looking for the best gun gear for every and any situation? Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
Yeah, hey, look, I got the moves like Michael, the flow like Aubrey, walk around thinking I'm a prince like Saudi. Mismatched Converse, t-shirts tucked in, know my worth, can't tell me nothing. White Nikes, albino, pink cop my stilo, head to the top, bottom line is a motto.
All righty. We're back once again with gunsinthe701.com.
Harold, I hope you can hear me a little better. I moved the camera. Maybe this will work.
Yeah, we're up there now. We can hear you pretty good. So I wanted to see if I can throw out there. I got some of the information for Jamie real quick, and I was going to throw it up there, but I'm not quite sure how to throw a piece of thing out here real quick. So I'll just read it for everybody, and we'll go with that. That'll be fun. So 701 Nation, episode 20 coming up. Jamie's going to be talking about youth deer season gun and gear. I had a good one talking about armor the other day, and of course I sent him some stuff about some shield stuff that's pretty popular at the present moment. Also JD's Second Amendment breakdown from the presidential debate, and he's also got shot placement on a deer. Now also his happy ending of the week. And Jamie put out some good videos on 22s yesterday, and had a lot of people sharing that all over the place. It was pretty popular. So make sure you go and check out 701 Nations Jamie, and of course right here, part of our gunsinthe701.com. And you can also check it out at gunsinthe701.com as well. And we've got our back catalog stuff there. So good.
All right.
A lot planned.
Yeah, and I know that Jamie's going to be on now every Thursday. So I want to tune in every Thursday for that. And I think it's going to go well. So you can see all of us twice. So, hey, advertisers, guess what? Maybe we should raise our rates, right? Going to get more of it. No, advertisers are going to benefit a lot because they're going to actually now be on twice a week with both the Guns in the 701 and the 701 Nation show. So yeah, we'll tune in, see how it goes.
So, of course, Clay had some technical difficulties that knocked him off of his regular studio, and so we were a little delayed. But we didn't get a chance to talk about some of the stuff we were going to talk about tonight. Now, you want to do Badass of the Week, or do you want to do our Thug Plug for today? We got a couple there for you.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go Thug Plug, and then we'll probably go into Badass. And I do not have an armed citizen, unfortunately, because of what happened. So
that's all right.
I did have one, but I'll get. Hopefully, I have things back up and running.
Now I'm going to let you choose on this real quick. We got a Thug Plug here for you. It's going to be pretty fun. Now you can either choose Thug Plug, She's a Keeper, Thug Plug, Kidnapper Gone Wrong, or Thug Plug, Double Tap. Which one do you want to go for?
Oh, let's do Double Tap.
You want to do Double Tap? All right. So this one is a gentleman that owns a apparel shop, and apparently was not going to take any crap off the group of guys that came in, because it looked like one guy, but there's actually a group of guys that are in there scoping the place. So we'll go for this out of South America right now. Take a look at what's going on. Yeah, normal things. Oh, I've got a gun. Oh, look at me. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, you're not backing down. You're not backing. What's going on? Oh, he missed me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 1, 2. Oh, and now. Oh, did you see him? See him on the ground? He double tapped him. He totally double tapped him. Now, I got to tell you, I got to go back here just a little bit. Now, if we go back and see right before he shot, watch the little juke he does right to the side when the guy holding the gun to fire at him. He moved to the side. He did that little slide right there, and that helped him avoid that guy's shot, and didn't help him. I think he just totally double tapped him on that one.
Yeah. Good shot, guys.
I guess that's one way. Oh, and he took his guns too, so that's good. So yeah, let's go ahead and exit out of that one. But yeah, I was like, I thought you might like the double tap on that one, but I wasn't quite sure. But that was a pretty good one. Where'd you go?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right.
There you go. I imagine that man probably assumed room temperature.
Yeah, most
yeah.
likely. Now you notice, like I said, that
Coffee.
quick little juke right to the side, and that gun went off and blew out the glass behind him. But nothing protected the guy after that. What a dumb thing! Just going in there and
Have another one. We should do She's a Keeper too.
you want to do She's a Keeper?
Yeah,
Now this guy survives, but I gotta play These a Keeper. Of course, our Thug Slugs for today. There we go. Oh yeah, so. Well, look at me. I'm on my bike.
Yeah, I've seen this. This one's great.
Oh yeah.
Did I send you this one?
He stops him. The wife helps out. The wife helps out. They put. Oh, wait a minute, but wait.
And the helmet rolls.
Oh yeah, the helmet rolls.
She runs over. She grabs it. And she goes boom in the head. There you go. Now take that. That's a KO right there on the ground. Take that, you slimy little son of a bitch.
And yeah, She's a Keeper. That's a good one right there.
That one actually goes on. I saw another version of that. And
Yeah.
the guy then is punching him. When she backs away with the help, the guy continues to punch him in the face. I think he did it with the gun, but I'm not sure.
Oh, and it's perfectly fine. Remember if you
Reminded me of,
if you don't know how to use a gun, remember it still makes a good club.
I think that is a great example of FOFA, right? Find out.
Yeah,
Find out.
basically.
Look around and find out. And I know Axe. He's very familiar with that. He's got that right there at the crossing going out to his gun range. So.
So yeah, double tap or double tap was a good one, and She's a Keeper. She's definitely a keeper. That's our. There we go with our. What do we call that one? The Thug Plug for the day.
Plug. I guess that could be our happy. Maybe rather than happy ending or arm system, maybe let's call it a Thug Plug. I like.
Well, because you guys had problems with it on KFYR with calling it happy ending and all that. Because
I think that was one of the things. Todd never come out and said that, but I noticed he wasn't using it as much. And I suppose maybe I can understand. I suppose you're on public radio. There's some rules there.
Yeah, I know, but it's right. Thug Slug sounds a little more. I like that.
So yeah, I just want to put out there again. We didn't hit it enough tonight because we got down. I was really kind of fired up, and I still kind of am about what's going on with Kamala. But thanks to all of our sponsors. We can't do it without our sponsors. I really can't. I can't say enough about Lauer Auto Repair because they've been on since the very beginning, guys. Axe and the crew down there. Axe didn't even hesitate, signed on. He's been with us since the beginning, and we truly do appreciate that. And he's a hell of a mechanic. I mean, I was happy he got to go on the Florida hog hunting trip with us. So appreciate you down there, Axe, and everything you guys do. 309 South Washington in Bismarck.
I still have a bunch of footage. Of course, we treat our sponsors the best because when we were out of our Second Amendment days up at Wayland's, of course, we had our number one sponsor opening all the gates for us, and then we filmed all that. So that was it's going. I was going to put we might do that for Christmas. Just have the compilation video of Axe doing all the hard work for us. But
maybe, hey, Jamie, I know you're listening. Maybe we need to have a Guns and 7-1 Christmas party this year. Yeah. Could do it up in Bismarck.
I've never had eggnog, so.
I don't like eggnog. I've had it, but hey, knock yourself out if you love it.
I mean, I think it's probably better just to drink Pendleton, but fine if you want it to be festive. I mean, I could always put a garnish in the top of a Pendleton glass. I mean,
there you go. Yeah, Eric says Axe is a good guy. We appreciate Axe. He's a great guy. Doug says you're welcome. We appreciate. We sure do, Doug. And like I said, and all of our sponsors are great. Man Sporting Goods, and I know Jamie just visited with me here the other day last week. We're still trying to get when he wants to do his grand opening. He's never done it yet for his new building. That's why we haven't been there and we canceled it. And then Jamie and I had another idea, and we're going to talk to probably Axe about that. I'm sure he's okay with it, but we're talking about doing one of them days where we bring K-Fire out, and then they come and they cover our 2A day up at the range, and we invite a lot, different people to come and kind of make it a whole thing where K-Fire is covering it that morning. And I think that that's usually on a Saturday morning. I think it would work great. You got Dakota Prairie Outdoors opening up in the morning on Saturdays, and then we can do our feature with 2A Day and have these little things coming. You know what the remotes are like.
Right, all day.
And that's what it'd be. And if you can make it even better yet, we can have some fun. Maybe we can go live and remote on your station.
Technically, I am the boss now. I guess what do is knock me back down to just a regular on-air guy. I mean,
just an on-air guy. And by the way, I sent a deal to Jesse. I didn't get a chance to put you both into it, but I'll get you in touch with him. I think Jesse still looking for another job. And he's a sports guy. So hopefully,
there we go. I am looking for a guy right now. So that'll be a good deal. Hey,
so I do not have my commie company of the week because I didn't get a chance to do that either. Everything's on my computer, Mike.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why backups are so good out there. Backups are good.
Well, I'm glad I had Landon's here. Like I said, I walked into his room here and we got it up and running. We couldn't get the mic to work for whatever reason. Well, I can guarantee you I'm going to get it working. So if I need a backup, I always have one.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Friday, unless you got something else you want to add tonight?
Well, all I got is badass, and then one little thing to walk us out for tonight, and of course, that'll be a little video that I've got to show our.
I'll tell you before we do that. Then, let's do badass for the week, and then I'm just going to give you an update of what I got coming up Friday with Todd.
Okay.
And then we'll call it an evening.
So I got a badass of the week, and it's a good one. And basically, you talk about the enemy will take away your loved ones and whatnot, but that doesn't mean you give up. You might fall into a little bit of depression, but you can turn that around. And I think the greatest thing that when the enemy takes out a member of your family is for you to kill more of the enemy. So I think that's a good one. So we'll do our badass of the week for you here on GunsInThe701.com. Be back in 8 minutes.
All right.
The man who loves walking will get further than the man who only seeks the destination. Embrace the suck and carry on. The difficulty of the challenge determines the quality of the man who comes out the other side.
The future has not been written. There is no fate but what we make for ourselves.
With our fingernails to that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing.
Well, hello everybody. Once again, it is our badass of the week from GunsInThe701.com. That's right. It's where we go deep into history and find somebody who had an extra pinch of badassery that just was too much to contain. This week, we'll be dealing with the Russians back in World War II. So my dialects and some of my pronunciations might be a little off. I actually don't mind if you write me and tell me they are off. I like to correct myself down the road. If you want to do that, you can always email me at mike@gunsinThe701.com. I take complaints, well wishes, all that good stuff. Maria Oktyabrskaya. That's right. Once upon a time, in the midst of World War II, there lived a woman named Maria. Now, Maria was no ordinary woman. She was a woman with a mission and a tank named Fighting Girlfriend. Her story is one of bravery, determination, and a good dose of humor. She was a firm believer that marrying a man in the military meant that you were part of the military yourself. Now, Maria's journey began when she received a devastating news that her husband had been killed in battle. Now, instead of succumbing to grief, she decided to take some action. Now, she sold all of her belongings and donated the money to the Soviet government, who were fighting on the Eastern Front up against the Germans. She requested that the Soviets would build a tank in her husband's honor. The government agreed, surprisingly, and thus, Fighting Girlfriend was born. Now, Maria wasn't content with just donating a tank. She wanted to drive it herself. She even wrote a letter to Joseph Stalin asking for permission to join the fight. Stalin was impressed by her determination, granted her request, and Maria underwent rigorous training where she quickly became known for her fierce spirit and surprisingly good sense of humor.
Hey, during a training session, Maria's instructor, stern man named Sergei, was explaining the intricacies of tank maneuvers. Maria, with a twinkle in her eye, asked,
Sergei, if I can parallel park this tank, can I get a medal?
Now, the entire crew burst into laughter, and even Sergei, he cracked a smile just a bit. Now, Maria's first battle was nothing short of legendary. She and her crew approached the front lines. They encountered a German tank, and let's remind you, in her T-34 medium-sized tank, she was outgunned and out-armored pretty much in every battle. Now, Maria, ever the quick thinker, decided to play a little prank. She ordered her crew to paint a giant smiley face on the front of Fighting Girlfriend. The sight of the smiling tank charging at the Germans left the soldiers so bewildered that they fled in confusion. And Fighting Girlfriend taking pot shots at them the whole time they left. We talk about her being funny. One day, Maria received a care package from her sister filled with homemade cookies. She decided to share them with her comrades. As they sat around enjoying the treats next to the tank, a German patrol unexpectedly appeared, and without missing a beat, Maria grabbed the cookies and threw them at the nearest soldier, hitting him in the face. The soldier, being completely shocked more than hurt, yelled,
What kind of weapon is this?
In the meantime, Maria's crew erupted in laughter and then quickly overpowered the patrol, taking them captive. I wonder if their cookies were saved. It's always about the food for me, right? Also, during a particular grueling campaign, Maria and her crew stumbled upon a stray goat. The goat, seemingly unfazed by the chaos of war, trotted up to Maria and nuzzled her leg. Maria decided to adopt the goat, naming it Comrade Goat. They even painted a little red star on its side. Now, Comrade Goat became their unofficial mascot, providing a much-needed comic relief during tough times. Now, after years of battles on the Eastern Front, Maria's final battle was both heroic and humorous. They advanced toward enemy lines. Maria noticed a group of German soldiers trying to set up an ambush. Now, she had an idea. She ordered her crew to play recordings of a Russian folk song at full volume. The Germans, confused by the sudden music, peeked out of their hiding spots, only to be met by the sight of Fighting Girlfriend barreling towards them. The ambush was thwarted, and Maria's crew emerged victorious. Unfortunately, shortly after that, the tank was attacked, and Maria, after several months in a coma, succumbed to her injuries. Maria Oktyabrskaya's story is one of courage, resilience, and a healthy sense of humor. She proved that even in the darkest times, a little laughter could go a long way. Plus, having your own tank kind of helped too. Her legacy lives on, not just as a war hero, but as a symbol of the indomitable human spirit. And so, the legend of Maria Oktyabrskaya and her Fighting Girlfriend tank grew, filled with tales of bravery, humor, and a touch of whimsy. Maria Oktyabrskaya and her tank Fighting Girlfriend were definitely, 100%, pretty sure, a badass. Sources for these stories were from warfarehistorynetwork.com, also Wikipedia, we couldn't do it without you, and ProBook.com as well. And that'll do it for the Badass of the Week. Every week, we like to pull out a badass out of history and give it back to you in words and pictures. And we like doing it because it's fun and because history should never be forgotten. And we like our badasses. That's just the way it is. Remember, if you've got a badass you want to hear here on the show, all you got to do is email us at mike@gunsandthe701.com. That's mike@gunsandthe701.com. See that little QR code up there in the corner? Yeah, right there. Yeah. Here's the deal with that one. Now, you can click on that, and if you've got $5, $10, $20, whatever you got to spare to help us out, pay for some of the equipment we've got to upgrade. Also, we've always got to update our subscriptions to all the programs we use because that's the way the world works now. We can always use a little money, so we thank you for that. If you want to catch the back catalog for gunsandthe701.com for our Badass of the Week, and for Jamie with our sister show, 701 Nation, you can always go to our website at gunsandthe701.com. We're on all your social media sites, even Fascist Book and CommiTube. Also, don't forget us over on Rumble. Got a lot of friends over there. Getting bigger and bigger over on Twitter as well. We're over on Twitch. Yeah, I know. It looks pretty nice over on Twitch. You can check it out there as well. And someday, if Clay ever lets me do it, we're going to be over there on OnlyFans. I'm going to do this show shirtless. Appreciate you all tuning in. And don't forget, of course, we'll be back next week with another badass in history. And as my friend Clay always says, remember, keep your powder dry and stay safe, you bunch of badasses.
Well done again, bud. That was great.
Good, man.
I loved it. I loved
She's
it.
a badass. She's definitely a badass. So
Definitely was. Definitely was. Oh, we're getting
But here's the
hammered
deal:
at Twitch.
they built those tanks. The Russians built those tanks, those T-34s, like Yugos. I mean, they were like pumping them out like crazy because they had no armor. They made a lot of noise. They were terrible. You know, their rate of fire was really slow. They were basically just building them in numbers, trying to overwhelm. And she lasted like 3-4 years in that thing, and
Wow.
in pitch battles. So not an easy thing. And you know, really, and just you know, threw caution to the wind, and you know, just painting smiley faces on her things just to screw with the enemy. You know, that's it's funny. It's funny stuff.
Now we don't have men that can even do that. Now we got
No,
beta
no,
males.
no.
No, that was a great one. Yeah, Jamie says 701. Love it. Great badass episode. Absolutely. Eric said, I met the guy at Bloodline Connects, and he's a nice guy as well. Haven't met the other sponsors yet. Keyword is yet, so it's coming.
There we go.
So sounds great. Well, so Friday, of course, I'll be on 7:15 in the morning Mountain, 8:15 Central, KFYR 550 Radio on your dial with Todd Mitchell. Mitchell in the morning. We do our segment, and you know what? We have a lot of fun on there, and we miss you, Mike. But hey, we're doing okay.
I know.
Todd's actually really getting in on this now, so it's kind of fun.
Good.
And I know I'm going to talk about the shooting down in Georgia again, and not necessarily the shooting itself. And we touched on this a little bit already on there about the parents being arrested. Well, we're going to go a little more in depth on that. I have a little more information. And the manifesto is out from the Covenant shooting.
Jeez.
Wow. I'm telling you, I don't know how far I'm going to go down in this. I might mention it, that it's out so people can go check it out. It's quite lengthy, and I don't know if it's really good. I don't know. There's some things in there we can talk about, but my big thing is I want to get out there is there is a court ruling. It came out of because of Bruin.
Right.
The court rules that federal machine gun law cannot be justified under Bruin. So this could be a big deal. I mean, yeah, it's a small court. It's in Kansas right now, but that's the ruling. They say that it violates Bruin, doesn't hold historical, means to ban them. Well, that could tear apart the whole NFA, which we've been asking for forever, and even 1986 law. So this could be interesting. It's probably going to affect eventually the 1968 Gun Control Act, of course, the National Firearms Act, and of course the 1986 law. So tune in on Friday, because I'm going to go a little bit into it. I'm not going to go crazy into it. If you want to look it up a little bit, guys, it's the law is 18 U.S. Code 9220, and I guess it's probably. And if you get in there, and also there's definitions in there under 26 U.S.C., and that's United States Code. And Title 18 is where you're going to find all the tax laws and things like that, and that's what they used back in Prohibition. That's why the whole term revenuer got started.
Right.
It's also where all the gun laws are pretty much stacked up is in Title 18, and it's a big title. It's thick. Trust me, I have it on my desk. So go read it, and it's a boring read. Read it in doses, or you're going to bore yourself to death, but you will have knowledge of what the federal gun laws are. So that's what's coming up, and whatever else we come up with. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's a lot of time between now and Friday. It doesn't sound like it, but I'm telling you, things can change within 24 hours pretty quick.
Oh, it's definitely for sure.
So, tune in on Friday morning, Mitchell in the morning, and of course, right here, every single outlet we got. We encourage you to use Rumble. By the way, hi to our Rumble people. We did have some on there tonight.
Yep.
I was not able to monitor that tonight, but I know they were there because I clicked on a different tab to check it out once in a while. And our Twitter feed, it's growing. Thank you, everybody. Go over there, hit that up, hit the Rumble channel. And, we still got CommieTube and Fascist Book, and always on the website, www.fascistbook.com. guns701.com. And don't forget the store. We've had some orders, and I've been kind of neglecting it. We all kind of have. Get T-shirts like this. We've got some great new ones on there with Trump. Probably going to put another new one up there. We got Trumpomania now, and I've sold actually several of them. I don't even have it on the website, so we'll probably try to get that updated.
Awesome.
Go over to the store, and it's right up there on the. You can't miss it. It's right at the top when you go onto the landing page. It says store. Just click right on it.
Hey, and by
all
the way,
the proceeds go right to this show.
Now, there's always a hunting season going on somewhere, but of course we've got our deer and everything and pheasant all coming up, so everyone be safe. But also remember that there are gun shows and all kinds of banquets coming up. Support them. Get yourself some of those freedom seeds and get out there. And of course, take your family as well. That's the main thing about these shows as well. Make it a family event and have a good time. We've got ours. You got yours coming up in Mobridge. You've got your gun show, and I've got a banquet this weekend up at the Corn Palace, and looking forward to it.
It's going to be a good time. Lots of things going on this fall. Hunting seasons are upon us. I know archery seasons are opened up in both North and South Dakota, I believe, for deer. I don't know about antelope. I imagine they are. But yeah, so looking forward to it. I got tags for deer and antelope this year, so I'm really excited because the boys do too. And we're going to go out there hopefully and get Leighton his very first antelope, because we haven't had a season for several years. So with that, that's all I got. Let's do a quick prayer. And let's sign off. Lord, we just ask that you will watch over our leaders and put the right people in place to ensure that this nation stays trusting and loyal to your word as it was founded. We ask that you watch over the men and women that protect this country each and every day, who sign that blank check payable upon with their lives. Watch over them, keep them safe, and bring them home. Remember, freedom's never free. We're a Christian nation. We started as a Christian nation, and we need to continue as a Christian nation. We can't do it without your help, and all we can do is pray and follow your lead. Please bless everyone that's listening to the show tonight, and bless this nation. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. Well, with that, we're going to call the night.
I'm going to hit some music, and I've got something from Ukraine, and this is twofold. One, it's cool. Two, it's the new age of drone warfare. It's called Raining Fire. So I'm going to throw that out for you here real quick.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw out Keep Your Powder Dry. We'll see everyone next week. We'll go ahead with the music, and then we'll fade out from there. So we'll see everybody next week.
There we go. All right, here we go. Look at that. Raining fire down with oh my gosh. I mean, that is basically showing you that warfare has become something totally different.
Yeah. Wow.
So you got keep that in mind, folks.
Wow.
That's just one drone.
Man, I need a drone like that, everybody.
We got to get one before the government does.
All right. Everybody have a great week.